Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're exploring a relentless, massive green ocean that stretches right across South America. I want you to close your eyes for a second and just imagine a landscape that literally pulses with moisture and sound. Picture thunder rolling through the distance, shaking the canopy like the heartbeat of a storm that never truly ends. Well, for over 50 million years, this incredibly dense living labyrinth has been drawing carbon from our air and exhaling oxygen. Basically, every single leaf out there acts as a tiny solar panel, and every root acts as a lung. Together, they form Earth's ultimate biological engine. Okay, let's dive right into this. 29,000. That is the number of cubic meters of water the Amazon River pumps into the ocean every single second. It's almost hard to wrap your head around. It begins this monumental 4,400-mile journey all the way from the icy cradles of the Andes Mountains. To put that massive number into perspective, it releases more water than the next 7 largest rivers in the world combined. It drains nearly a fifth of all the fresh water on Earth. It's truly the main artery running right through our planet's lungs. But despite the roaring, massive scale of that river, power in the Amazon isn't always loud. Actually, mostly it's silent, it's hidden, and it is incredibly patient. The intense pressure of this environment forges predators through sheer perfection. Just look at the jaguar, the absolute sovereign of the forest floor. It's solitary, it's nocturnal, and it possesses a bite capable of crushing skulls. It stalks completely silently where the shadows meet the river. And then, above this hidden theater, you have the harpy eagle ruling the skies. It strikes completely unseen from the canopy above, wielding talons literally the size of a grizzly bear's to snatch monkeys and sloths right off their branches in mid-motion. All right, moving right along to our next section, the engineers of the jungle, masters of the loop. See, the Amazon relies on this unbelievably intricate web of creatures to maintain its perfect ecological cycles. In that dim, green light, absolutely nothing is accidental. Every habit, every single brilliant flash of color, it all serves a strict, strategic purpose. A perfect example of this is the sloth. So high up in the canopy, wrapped in a coat tinted green by symbiotic algae, the sloth lives life at the speed of moss. But once a week, it does something really fascinating. It performs a vital ritual. It slowly, carefully climbs all the way down the exact same tree to the base, where it defecates. And that waste? It directly fertilizes the roots of its home tree. It's this perfect, self-sustaining fertilizer loop. The tree feeds the sloth, and the sloth feeds the tree. And the forest is just full of these strategic engineers. Take the toucan. You've seen that massive, vividly banded bill, right? It looks like pure decoration. But actually, it acts as a highly efficient heat radiator. It pulses with blood to cool the bird's body in the hot afternoon haze. And as it feeds, it swallows berries whole, and later scatters the unharmed seeds onto fertile ground. Then we have the tapir. This heavy, deliberate nocturnal walker quietly swallows entire clusters of fruit. As it makes its nightly rounds, its droppings literally plant entire corridors of new forests by dawn. It's incredible. And this brilliant diversity of survival strategies is perfectly illustrated even on the smallest scale. Take the bullet ant. This represents raw, uncompromising force. Reaching an inch long, it delivers venoms so agonizing, it's literally described as waves of fire. It ranks highest on the Schmidt Pain Index, so potent in fact that indigenous tribes once used it in endurance initiation rituals. On the flip side, you've got the leafcutter ant, representing masterful design. A single colony of these guys can move 12 tons of vegetation in a single year. But here's the kicker. They don't even eat the leaves. They use them to farm a living fungus underground, and they protect their crop with antibiotics produced by special bacteria living right on their own bodies.
This brings us to Section 3, Masters of Survival, Camouflage, and Chemistry.
So the heat, the humidity, the constant competition of the Amazon, it pushes every single species to adapt or simply vanish. This intense evolutionary arms race forces creatures to master either perfect illusion or wield lethal chemistry, which really begs the question, how do you survive when everything around you is a predator? In the Amazon, visibility often decides your fate. To be seen is to risk death. To blend in is to live another day. Failing to hide means immediate elimination.
To survive this kind of pressure, creatures rely on some truly mind-bending adaptations. The glass frog, for instance, literally achieves invisibility. When it rests, it can redirect its blood right into its liver, rendering its body totally transparent, so all you see is a faint green outline, hiding its beating heart. Then there's the leaf insect, relying on pure precision mimicry. Its body perfectly mirrors leaf veins, right down to imitating actual bite marks on the edges. It even sways in the wind to look like a leaf blowing in the breeze. And finally, the famous blue morpho butterfly. It doesn't even use pigment for its brilliant turquoise color. It uses light physics. Microscopic scales on its wings bend the light, flashing brilliantly in the sun, before turning brown and just vanishing into the shadows when it closes its wings. So, the crucial point here is that sometimes survival isn't about hiding at all. Sometimes it's about advertising danger. Take the neon-colored poison dart frog. It glows in these electric blues, oranges, and golds. But here's the secret to its venom, specifically its toxic alkaloids. The frog doesn't actually produce them itself. No way! It borrows death from the ecosystem. It concentrates these toxic compounds entirely from the poisonous insects it eats. And we know this for an absolute fact because poison dart frogs raised in captivity entirely lose their toxicity. Survival here is quite literally chemistry.
And when the sun sets, a terrifyingly efficient new crew takes over the night shift. The cougar prowls the undergrowth like liquid shadow, claiming 100 square miles all to itself. Up in the canopy, we find the margay. This small, tree-dwelling cat is so agile, it can rotate its ankles a full 180 degrees to climb down trees headfirst. And even wilder, it actually mimics the cries of baby monkeys to draw protective adults right into its reach. I mean, that is just diabolical. Above them all, this spectacled owl rules the night sky. Its feathers engineered for completely silent flight, allowing it to triangulate prey by sound alone.
Let's shift gears now to our next section, the hidden human history, echoes of the inland sea. To truly understand the Amazon's past, we have to look way back, like 65 million years ago. Before the Andes Mountains even rose up, the river flowed west, and this massive forest was actually a vast inland sea. That's why marine shells are still buried deep beneath the basin today. But as it slowly shifted to a jungle, humans arrived and they engineered it. When we look at the Amazon, we often just think of untouched wilderness, right? But it actually holds the traces of vast, ancient civilizations. Now, what's really interesting here is how these early human engineers created a highly fertile, man-made soil known as terra preta, or dark earth, by mixing charcoal, bone, and organic waste. This incredible forgotten science locked carbon into the ground and supported hugely dense populations. It's so effective that, centuries later, modern farmers still actively seek out these dark patches because crops grow remarkably stronger there without any modern fertilizers. Modern LiDAR scans and satellite images have revealed just how deeply managed this landscape really was. In the Llanos de Moxos of Bolivia, ancient peoples engineered geometric, flood-resistant causeways and raised fields, stretching for absolute miles. Over in Brazil's Xingu Basin, we find these circular villages connected by a massive, complex lattice of radiating roads and trenches. These weren't just primitive clearings, you guys. They were massive, connected cities designed for trade and protection, fully in conversation with the rhythms of the seasons. The Amazon is as much a product of human ecology as it is wild nature. Zooming back out to the macro level, we arrive at our final section, an unstoppable living force, the global pulse. This entire ecosystem is bound together by massive creatures dominating the waterways, maintaining a delicate but planet-wide resilience. Beneath the flooded plains, moving like a living current, is the green anaconda. This absolute titan reaches 30 feet in length and weighs over 500 pounds. With its eyes and nostrils set high on its head, it can remain almost completely submerged in the river, patiently waiting to ambush caimans and capybaras. And it doesn't use venom at all. It subdues its prey using sheer, overwhelming muscular strength, keeping the whole river in balance. But, strength alone doesn't sustain a forest. The Amazon would collapse entirely without its caretakers. The king vulture tracks death from the sky, using its razor-sharp beak to pierce thick hides and cleanse the land of decay before it can poison the living ecosystem. Down in the water, the immense Amazonian manatee grazes continuously, eating 15% of its body weight every single day. It literally clears out the aquatic pathways. And get this, its teeth continuously regrow from the back of its jaw as the old ones wear out. And hanging out in the shallows, the side-necked turtle acts as a quiet, steady aquatic recycler. This caretaker dynamic builds into something even more remarkable. The true mind of the forest is collective. Survival here is literally a team sport. Marmoset families share the labor of raising twins, with males and older siblings pitching in to carry and groom the young. Spider monkeys use their prehensile tails as a fifth limb for swift, graceful movement. Macaws mate for life, flying in perfect, synchronized harmony. And coatis, they forage in highly coordinated waves, intelligently flipping stones and bark together to flush out food. Intelligence here is a beautifully shared resource. Now, today, the Amazon is obviously facing extreme modern threats. Chainsaws echo through the valleys, and fires meant to clear land often burn out of control, releasing tons of stored carbon back into the air. Yet, despite all of this, the forest remains an unstoppable force of nature. It continues to produce a massive portion of the world's oxygen. It absorbs billions of tons of carbon every single year. The rain that rises from its canopy literally shapes weather patterns across entire continents. It regulates the climate of the whole world. This matters to every single one of us. Which leaves us with one final, absolutely vital question to ponder. The Amazon is the planet's memory. Its rivers pulse like veins beneath the skin of the earth. Its canopy breathes out the very atmosphere we rely on just to exist. So as this relentless green ocean continues to sustain us all, how will we learn to live with the heartbeat of the earth? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep wondering, keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.